Alright. Oh god. Okay, making sure this isn't gonna crash or anything. I'm also gonna make sure that, number one, the stream's quality is better than yesterday, because oh my god, I rewatched that and it was like lagging so much. Trust me, the simulator, like, I know it looks even worse on the stream because it's a combination of like bad quality, like in the game, and low FPS. Trust me, the sim, I was saying like it was lagging a little bit. It wasn't lagging nearly as much as it was on the stream. Like it would do like a stutter for 2 or 3 seconds, but for the most part, like the whole time it was running, 30 FPS the whole time. Like at lowest it was running like 25. So it was not as bad as it looked. Trust me. But no, I'm gonna make sure everything's working here. And this isn't lagging at all now, which that might be because I'm near water, because it is kind of starting to get laggy now. But then again, I'm in Miami right now, as you can probably tell by the title. And also, why does the water look so nice here? Wait, I've never seen the water in X-Plane actually have an effect like that. It might just be because it's windy. Okay, the stream's quality is still really bad. Okay, it's not running that bad. It's not running that bad. I need to like enhance the bit rate or something crazy like that just to get it to work a little better, I guess. I don't know. Next stream I might do the freeware DC9 just so it's not as bad as it is right now. But okay. We're doing a real flight, by the way. This flight is actually about to happen very soon, in about half an hour now, maybe 40 minutes. Our airtime's only going to be 59 minutes, so it'll probably be like an hour and 5 minutes with the way I like to lollygag around with the speed. I'm going to go ahead and flip all these switches on just for when we actually need them. And I'm gonna request the GPU. There we go. We have ground power. I need to see the sound too, actually, because I changed. Request the GPU. There we go. We have ground power. I need to see the sound. I was seeing the sound because I've turned the sound up a little bit. I also shouldn't have gotten rid of that. But yeah, there's no denying that it definitely doesn't run as smooth right here as it does when I'm actually setting it up. What am I saying? When I'm not live, the frames are better. I'm gonna put this on speed select already just so I don't have to worry about it later. And I'm gonna put it at 250, and I'm gonna turn down the volume on the stream even though it's already quiet enough. I'll probably put it around 180 maybe until the autopilot comes on. I'll do 200 just as a start. Cruise altitude's gonna be 34,000 feet. I'm just gonna start setting the altitude like before I even program the FMC or anything. And now I'm gonna put in the fuel and the weights. 3,100. This is the first time in a while I've had a nice round number for the fuel. Yeah, this is what I'm talking about. 6634. And payload, we have 118 passengers. Not quite sure if that's realistic. The only ones that I know, like if it's realistic or not, are Delta. And I've never flown Delta before. I've never flown before at all in general. But like, it's a lot easier to judge just because I know. Also, I meant to start at an actual gate. So, yeah. If you're wondering why we're starting literally in the middle of nowhere, it's because I wanted to start close to the runway where we're taking off, which is 8 left. Which I'm gonna do 8 right. The flight plan says 8 left. I'm gonna do 8 right. I think it says 8 left. Yeah, it does. 8 left is the landing runway, though, as you can tell by the length. We're gonna do 8 right. Also, the graphics are better right now. As much as, like, the frame rate likes to die on me when I'm live, the graphics are up right now, because I don't know, actually. Maybe it's because I'm in the next to water. Water, I like being around water and am I moving forwards, or is it this? It's this, isn't it? I thought I accidentally turned the parking brake off for a second. Alright. The IRS is not aligned yet, I'm sure. So while we're waiting for that, you can probably hear the stream in the background, too. I'm gonna actually exit off of that, because now that I know that it's working. Like, if something crazy happens, like there's a big explosion in the stream or something, then maybe I'll look at that, but not... For now, I'm not going to. 6.6/n, the easiest thing to forget about. I was gonna say the easiest thing to remember, that's why I kinda had a weird moment there for a second. Gross weight, 54.3. Zero fuel weight, that is good. Once again, I always put 3 on the reserves and 35 cost index. Cruise is flight level 340. Winds 279 at 40. There we go, 279/40. That is nice. And the ISA deviation's 8, just like yesterday, I think. And just like that, we have a perfectly nice and programmed FMC. Kinda. I also didn't activate the route. I didn't even put in the route, actually. And I might have forgotten what the, I think I remember what the code is. MUHA. This is the real reason I don't really fly to airports outside of the US. Because in the US, all the airport names, you know, it's like, it's simple. You know, it's not complicated. Anywhere else, it's kind of complex. You know, you gotta... Like, anywhere except for here and Canada, it's kind of complex. Because you'll have airports with, like, all these weird letters that don't have anything to do with the airport name. At least here, it's, like, you know, the same as the IATA codes. And the IRS is aligned, as you can tell by this. First, I have to put the flight number, which you don't actually have to do that. It's just... I'm pretty sure that will be for, like, air traffic control. But I always do it. 252. For a second there, I thought my microphone wasn't on, which is stupid, because I was literally watching the stream, like, 2 minutes ago, and I could hear myself. Alright! That is a nice, perfectly programmed FMC we have. And, oh my god. I almost forgot to put the departure and everything. Now, this is a difficult part. Because, like I said earlier, it's reading things that the issue is. Entering things, I can just see what I'm typing. And I'm fairly confident, most of the time, that I typed the proper thing. When it comes to reading these things, you know, it's fine at, like, smaller airports that only have, like one sit or star per letter. But airports like this... You know, big airports that have like six departures and arrivals each that start with the letter G. I don't know what I'm pressing because you can't read anything. But GLAD's 1. It starts with a G. I didn't even know. The only reason I know that this is it is because there's a Z and a 1. But yeah, okay. And the transition is lulls. That's a good thing, 'cause that's the only one I can actually see here. Taking off from 8 right. I'm not gonna vector myself this time. I might have to vector myself on departure or arrival. I like the name of the arrival we're doing, entry 4, and I'd assume this is gonna be our transition. Yes, Canoa. We're gonna be arriving on 06, Visibility, the visibility at the airport looks weird. Cause it says the visibility is 5 9/16 square miles. Which, I was reading that before I started the stream, and it was pretty funny to me. I don't think there's gonna be any waypoints in between Y196, but I can't actually put that in here. I'm gonna actually look up why there's things like that. Like, why there's waypoints like that. Like, because a lot of times I'll do flights, and in the middle of the flight, there'll be, like, a set of waypoints that, like, it's like a cluster of waypoints, and instead of putting all the waypoints, it'll say, like, Q96, but it doesn't say the waypoints. I have to open up the whole flight plan to do that, which I don't really do anyway, but, alright. Q routes. I don't. AJ's trying to get me into a PlayStation party or something, which I'm not gonna do, kindly. I'm gonna actually look at the stream just to see if there's anyone in the chat, because yesterday I missed the entire chat. So, it's kind of becoming a snooze fest right now. How much time do I... Oh my god, there's one person watching. It might just be my old thing from when I was watching earlier. I'm gonna actually look at the stream just to see if there's anyone in the chat. I would follow the operations. I'm following the operations. What are you talking about? Alright. I'm just gonna expedite on the, well, I have to set the trim first. It's supposed to be 6 on the dot. I hear a little bit of the stabilizer motion alarm, but not much. And there it is. I'll do a little bit over that. And I gotta turn on the hydraulic switches. Hydraulic pumps. And hydraulic pressure is coming in. There it is, 30. Okay, I'm gonna expedite the rest of this stuff now. Retract the stairs, close the doors, yada yada. I'm gonna set this on vertical speed. And nav track. And now I can turn on the fuel pumps and the engine start stuff, bleed air, APU, and that'll come on eventually. And I forgot to turn on the battery. Okay, now the APU will turn on. For some reason I have a habit of forgetting that, and I don't think the center pump tank's gonna be used, which it's not. And now I'm gonna prematurely lower the flaps. But alright. Turn on some lights while I'm waiting for the APU to start. And once the APU starts, I can disconnect ground power. Which it's almost started. Almost there. Here we go. 80, 90, 100. Alright, now I can disconnect the ground power. Isn't that fascinating? Isn't that fantastic? And now, I'm pretty sure... Okay, yeah. Now the engines are starting. There's not really anything else here I need to do. And at 20 N2, I can dump fuel into the engine. There we go. And now it's gonna start. Come on, Captain, I got places to be. Let's go to Havana. Settle down, settle down. Alright, we've got engine 1 started. So now I can close the engine 1 cross-feed valve. And since it's cloudy outside, I get an excuse to use a thunderstorm light. Woohoo! It's basically just all the cockpit lights. And almost at 20%, or 20%, almost at 20 N2, there we go. Engine 2 starting. And there we go. Don't need the APU anymore, so I can turn that off. Engine ignition off. And engine 2 crossfeed closed, if I can get it. Now I gotta figure out where the runway's at. Now, 8 right is on this side, so I don't really think I need a pushback anyway, because I'm in the middle of nowhere. But I'm gonna do it anyway.
Okay, I'll send the push card.
Thank you, Mr. Robot. And now, the final thing that I have to do before takeoff, or at least before taxi, is set the altimeter. Once again, the airport thing is, altimeter's 3020. Okay, for a second there I was wondering. It was at 800, and it said it's at, the airport's at 0 feet above sea level, so I was wondering what was going on there.
Here we go.
Right, parking brake off. Don't need the map anymore. And now, all I have to do is a lot, kinda. The landing lights can come on. All the other lights can come on. Whoopity-doo. And there's the ground vehicles being really stupid right now. I swear, every single time I'm taxiing, like into a gate or something, through every one of those stupid baggage cart things like this, one of these, it always like it'll stop before, like right when I'm about to cross, and then as soon as I start crossing, all of a sudden it wants to just, you know, gas it up and go under the jet. I don't know if they hired Travis Pastrana to drive these things or what. I wish I could set this at higher graphics, because when you're on higher graphics, this livery looks a lot better because it's all shiny. Especially the cockpit here. Alright, The separation of the V speeds is pretty weird. I just said that because I need something to say. It's the taxi. There's not much to say. A taxi is usually my least favorite part of the flight. A lot of people will say it's like the cruise or something. I don't mind the cruise. Because, like, you can... Because it's a time when nothing's really happening, but you can also relax. In the taxi, though, nothing's happening, and you can't, like... You still have to, you know... Like, it's a pretty boring part of the flight. You're driving on the ground. I'm going to use manual throttle for the takeoff again. Because I'm a manual minestrone. I don't know what in the heck I just said. I did a few flights in the DC-9 earlier today. As well. So I've been doing more hands-on flying in general today. Mostly to try to get better at visual approaches again, which, I mean, you can say that, like, I need to get better, but at the same time, with the way the graphics are, you can't, like, with ultra-low graphics like what I normally have, there's not really anything different I can do. Oh my god, it's a pilot eye video of an A330. And... actually, no. We're taxiing kind of fast. I'm going to slow it down a little for the turn. Going to use full length on 8 right. And there's 8 left over there in the distance. Hopefully, it's not as cloudy at the arrival airport, but at the same time, with that stupid visibility forecast I got, that means there are clouds, and I think it's few at 3,000 or scattered at 3,000, and few at 2,000. So that'll be a little interesting. And I assume we'll have ILS, but I don't really know. We'll figure it out in about an hour, though. Here we go. And one check. There we go. And takeoff power. There we go. Takeoff power set. Airspeed's alive. 80 knots. Pretend that's cross-check. 100 neutral pressure, and V1 rotate. It's a wee bit windy. Positive rate, gear up. And there we go. It actually is pretty windy right now. So windy, in fact, that I wasn't looking at the flight director for a second. The flight director does stupid stuff like that all the time, though. Alright, flaps 11. But no, the flight director does tend to put you on a sharp turn directly after departure and then correct itself back to where you're actually supposed to be. So a lot of times I don't follow it. That time I did. And I paid the price. Alright. Flaps and slats up, actually. Like, we're already at the clean speed. Auto throttle. Auto throttle speed 250. There we go. And we're about to ascend into the soup. Isn't that fantastic? Frame rate's a little better now that I'm over water. Going on a left turn. I'll put the right side landing light and nose gear light up. And as soon as we get above the clouds, I'll turn the thunderstorm light off. I am glad that I got to use it. Climbing at around 2,500 feet per minute. And now we're at 250. So now we're saving fuel by using less power than what the VNAV would want to use. Which, once I turn the autopilot on, I will use the VNAV. And it's also going to start to lag for a little bit in the clouds, because that's what it does. It's the #1 frame rate killer, actually. Believe it or not, it's not buildings and cities or, you know, complex airport structures. No, no, no. It's clouds that kill the frames in X-Plane. I want to turn the autopilot on and turn the thunderstorm light off if I can find it. $7,600 feet, 7,800, 900. Now I can get a nice outside look. Actually, since the autopilot's on, I will turn the VNAV on as well. I was hoping it would be a little bit more sunny for this stream, because, you know, it is a nice little, we are flying to Cuba, and, you know, Cuba looks a lot better when it's not raining. Florida does too. I was hoping it would be like all nice and sunny and everything, but no. The clouds have to come in and ruin everything. Alright, since we're above 10,000 feet, I can put all these lights and accessories away. And there we go. Just like that, I have essentially nothing to do until the descent. Once we get to cruise, I'll... Okay, once we get to cruise, I'll set the MCP altitude to around 1,500 feet or so. And at 18,000 feet, I'll set the altimeters and all that fandy dandy stuff. But other than that, there's not really anything to do. My house was built in 1996. We're throttling down for some reason. This is not our cruise altitude. This might be the level altitude for this next waypoint. Actually, I've never had this happen before though. I'm gonna see if I can see. Legs. We're supposed to be at 15,000 feet at the next waypoint. We're holding at 12,000. I don't know if this is a fuel saving thing or what. I mean, alright. I'll let it do what it needs to, but... when I look at the jet from the outside around clouds, I have to look mainly at the bottom so that I'm facing up. Let's see if it starts to climb after we get to the next waypoint. Descending a little because of the turn. Throttling up just a teeny bit. I mean, I don't know what it's doing. We should be going to 34,000 feet. Unless this is some sort of issue. I'm setting the MCP to 34,000 again. And VNAV. I have an idea. I'm gonna put it in airspeed mode. Where is it? Airspeed mode. And back up to climb power. Now we're climbing again, and then I'll put it back on VNAV. Once we get to cruise. Just to see what'll happen, cause I mean maybe it's something about like the cruise altitude being too high or something, cause SimBrief, I have noticed SimBrief likes to be ambitious on the cruise altitudes. Like I'll be doing a relatively short flight and I'll get a cruise altitude of 35,000 feet or something. It'll start descending as soon as it gets to cruise. But no, I don't really get what just happened there. I guess on the departure out of Havana, I'll keep it on airspeed mode for the climb out, rather than turn it on the VNAV close to 10,000. At least wait till after we've crossed 12,000. Through 16,600. Vacuum washing the carpet. Gummy June 2022 juices. Alright then, I'm gonna set the altimeter. Oh god. And there we, well, come on, there we go. I think the jet's testing to see if I really was flying the DC-9 earlier. Because the DC-9 doesn't have any of that VNAV, doesn't even have auto throttle. And you know, you gotta manually plan out all this stuff. Scary. So that's what I'm gonna say is going on. That's the jet's excuse. It's testing to see if I really was flying a DC-9 earlier, or if I'm just speaking out of my ass. 20,000 feet. Only 14,000 feet to go. Fandy dandy. Fantastic. Climb rate is gonna gradually decrease as we increase in altitude, which is expected. And once we get into cruise, I'm gonna spend about an hour watching 1 hour of GTA 5 NPCs driving off an overpass. That sounds like a fun video to watch. I would have done live time, like real world time, but it's getting dark, and X-Plane at night, when you don't have Ultra HDR on, it's too dark, or it's impossible to fly at night. It's like flying with a blindfold on, or better yet, flying with a blindfold over the windscreen, because you can see everything in the cockpit, kinda, not really. You can't really see that either. $23,000. I'm gonna crank up the power a little more, just so we can get a more acceptable climb rate. Which even on VNAV it's like this, usually, so. I'm gonna actually see what VNAV does now. VNAV climb. Okay, so the VNAV is working. We might have just had to. Maybe I just had to get past the 12,000 feet. Maybe it thought something was going on with 12,000 feet. You know, maybe because I know I didn't set it as the altitude in the tarp, but I don't know. That was a little weird, but it doesn't really matter now. Once we get on the ground, I can report it to the airline, and they'll do something. Alright, the cruise altitude is set. I'm making sure of that right now. And I'm also just coming up with things to say right now, because yeah, I'm just coming up with things to say right now, though, because once you get past 10,000 feet, there's not really anything to say. Dang, the sky is clearing up. It's already been 38 minutes into stream. That's a little awkward. Get it? Because it's not awkward. And hopefully I'll be able to actually look down, or at any angle besides up, without getting less than 5 frames per second once we get over this clear patch. BandLab giving me ads like, get your music out there for as low as $3 a day. Like, get your latest track. Buddy, I don't want to get orange juice out there. You know, I'm definitely not paying for it. If it gets out there, it's by accident. And it's probably by somebody who doesn't like me or Alex very much. Almost at cruise now. Nothing to really talk about. Maybe I can talk about Applebee's. I'm gonna look up something about Applebee's. Like just Applebee's news. Because I need something to talk about during the incredibly dull 30 minutes of cruise. Not even in cruise yet, but Applebee's news. Kenosha County District Attorney dismisses all charges against couple from viral Applebee's video. The world's first Applebee's to go opens on Long Island in Deer Park. Applebee's to go. I've gotten to go from Applebee's. What are you talking about? No. Harrisburg Mall to become mixed use business community. Bass Pro Shops, Applebee's to stay. No more eating good in the neighborhood. Little Rock Applebee's abruptly closes. Shocking employees. No! I've flown to Little Rock in the simulator before. Diddly. And there's another thing about the Kenosha County Police, you know, Applebee's thing. Applebee's to close more restaurants than it expected this year. August 23rd, 2023. Kenosha Applebee's incident. Family's attorney speaks. When was the last update on this? An hour ago? For crying out loud. Man caught with gun stolen from South Haven store at Applebee's. October 13th. Applebee's in Glenmont permanently closing. October 13th. Rich and poor Americans mix most at chains like Applebee's and Olive Garden. 3 weeks ago. Next page. We're only 2,000 feet away now. Or 1,500. Daily update. Riverhead Applebee's raises more than $7,000 for Alex's Lemonade Stand Foundation. Dollarita Steve gets the last laugh. Lands deal with Applebee's. Applebee's, Olive Garden represent places that should help break class barriers, study says. Applebee's to go, coming to Deer Park. I already saw that. Report on oh my god! Forget about the arrests. What happened? They call police tone deaf after video forcefully arresting the wrong people. Why? Why is so much stuff happening at a Kenosha Applebee's? It's not even, like, these aren't even the same things. They're completely different incidents at this same Applebee's. Like, what is it like at that Applebee's? The Applebee's I go to, like, nothing ever happens, you know? It's a nice calm place. You know? There's not too many workers there. They have good food. The bacon cheeseburgers are the best, you know? No. But, like, whenever I go to Applebee's, you know, it's always nice and calm. There's people, you know, having conversations to themselves in the tables. It's not people, like, it's, what's going on at this Applebee's? Also, we're at cruise now. But no, what's going on with this Applebee's in Kenosha? Another one! Oh my god! It's a hit and run. Applebee's, like, and it, oh my god, dude. Man sentenced to life in prison after argument at Applebee's leads to deadly shooting. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if it was Kenosha. Okay, Cathedral City Applebee's. Cathedral City, what is this, Batman? What do you mean Cathedral City? $1,500 altitude. Yeah, we can look down at the water now. Isn't that cool, calm, and collected? It never fails to amaze me how much clouds can impact my frame rate. It doesn't make sense. They're white fluff. It should be the easiest thing to do. I had to download, like in my downloads, I have an add-on that's literally called extremely, or extreme low textures for clouds in X-Plane, FPS boost, because the clouds, like, are so bad. I'm just gonna see if I can find those, The Dollarita is back at Applebee's. Applebee's closed its Wilmington location. Alexander. You don't have many left. Kenosha police arrested a black man at Applebee's. The actual suspects were in the bathroom. Kids eat free on Halloween at Applebee's. An Applebee's manager has been fired following Kenosha officer. Like, bro, what is going on? Let me look up where that's at so I can mark that on places I'm never gonna go. Wisconsin. Okay, well, that explains it. I want to just look up Kenosha news. See how much I can find in the past 24 hours. Some about elections. I don't care about this stuff. Man killed in two-vehicle crash. Fighting in court. Abortion pill. Okay. Like, oh my god. No, I want to know where this Kenosha Applebee's. I'm gonna look up Kenosha Applebee's. I'm gonna see what it's like. Cause there must be some sort of fumes in the air in that Applebee's. It has a 3.4 star rating, which is higher than I thought it would have, considering all the shootings and wrongful arrests that happen at that Applebee's. Now, there's gotta be something. Ordered salmon, ran out, no straw for water, waited 10 minutes for the bill. Service is okay, a bit slow, friendly hostesses and server, food was decent. I want to just look at the reviews for this place, because one of them's going to say, like, I saw somebody get stabbed with a pocket knife today. But other than that, the meal was good, until I threw up. Highly disappointed. Go anywhere else but here. Ordered at 6 p.m. for a takeout. 6 p.m. And they said it would be ready at 6:17. As you can see on the receipt, I didn't get the food until 6:36 p.m. As in post-meridian. Huh. I think that's what that means. I don't know. My husband went to pick up the order by himself. Then, we didn't realize there was no chicken in the strawberry chicken salad that we paid $16 for until he was back home. When we called the restaurant, it was hell getting a hold of someone. Then, when we did, we couldn't even get a hold of the manager because nobody was picking up. This place is a joke. You're better off just going to Wendy's for a strawberry balsamic chicken salad. So I take it people don't really... Okay, Applebee's, the owner of that Applebee's, responded saying, "Thank you, Brunette, for taking the time to leave us a review. Although we're sorry, we're descending now. This is what you do. You read Applebee's reviews in Kenosha, Wisconsin. We're sorry we failed to meet your expectations. Please copy and paste this link into your web browser so we can get just a little more info, and we will have the Kenosha Applebee's franchise or franchisee follow up with you." And it's a weird link that has like 20 different slashes. "The mozzarella sticks were great. I had the double crispy shrimp dinner, and my husband had fish and chips. The first piece of shrimp was not fully, okay. That's how you know people are just being picky, when they have all these words that you don't even understand. I don't think that's even an actual word. Well, I don't need to put the speed brake out, actually. It's holding the speed pretty well on idle. Somebody unliked the stream. What kind of scallywag do you have to be unless your account gets deleted? Alright, but frame rate should be pretty good going into the arrival airport because it's surrounded by water. We're doing a pretty shallow descent right now, which isn't really a bad thing, but sometimes it'll start the descent like 200 miles early. There'll be 300 miles to go. And the descent 150 something. Okay, so we're only 152 miles out. So it's a little early, but it's just to make the descent more shallow, I guess. So fuel conservation. Oh god. Pewter schnitz. What the heck? You know what? Why do I have a picture of AJ doing the chicken dance? You know what? We're gonna forget about that. Oh my god. Like, oh my god. Like, god my, oh. Like, for crying out loud. Like, knick-knack Caddyshack. That's not even what it's supposed to be. It's paddywhack. But then again, paddywhack sounds stupid. So Caddyshack it is. Caddyshack also isn't the smartest sounding thing in the world. What? Okay. Oh god. Oh my god. Why does it... 22,700 feet. The best thing about this is that nobody knows what I'm laughing about. And nobody will know what I'm laughing about until we get on the ground. Which now it has 2 likes again. Okay, what scallywag keeps on liking and unliking? I don't understand, man. What's the big deal? Like, dude. $19,200 feet. I'm not paying attention, as you can probably tell. I'm over here looking at stuff on the iPad all the time. Doing. Yeah. Yeah. What the heck is this? Alright, I'm a little late on setting the altimeter, but it doesn't really matter, because there's no air traffic control, and also because I can't see the airport, because the map hasn't updated yet, so I'm just going to set the altimeter for whatever airport this is. I'm not even going to try to pronounce that. 3009. Ah! No! I went one over. I'm a madman. And I'm wearing pink pajamas. Because I'm a madman. And that's what the madmen do. Why did I get so serious about it? Okay, it's been 59 minutes. And we're somewhat close to landing. And then we'll go back to Miami. Or Miami. I should find a new way to stream this, because this stupid lag stuff isn't the way. 11 broken ribs, 1 punctured lung, 1 broken femur. Okay, buddy, let's not, like, die now. It's a little too late. 12,000. I'll put the speed brakes way out to get down to 240. And there we go. There's where the waypoints start to get a little weird. Not weird, but there's our airport too. I'm gonna see if we have ILS for yes, we're landing on the only runway here that has ILS. I don't really care, it doesn't matter. I'm probably not even really gonna look at it, but okay, yeah, the altimeter is the same here as it was at the airport I actually got it from. That's it's not really common. Normally I'll set it and it'll, well, normally when I set it, it'll be, you know, different. I need to think about what I'm saying for a second. I'm not having enough time or something to think here. Okay, normally when I set an altimeter from a different airport, if the altimeter setting there is different than what it is at the actual arrival airport. Oh my god, I did it. I did it. I said what I meant to say. Oh my god, I need to cherish this moment for life. Right, but the speed brake is away. What did I just do? Ah, no, I'm trying to skip ahead in the video. What the heck? It's all YouTube's fault, too. Adding that thing where you have to drag instead of just pressing the thing. Instead of just pressing where you want to go, you have to drag it now. Right, coming down to 10,000 feet, I'll put the landing lights on, and all the lights. Light it up like a Christmas tree, as they say. Which, once again, with our proximity to Christmas, it's even better. Now, the place I'm at right now doesn't really fit the Christmas spirit to me. Only because I associate this place with, I associate these types of places with summer and warm temperatures upwards of 90 degrees Fahrenheit, not Celsius. 90 degrees Celsius would be insane. People would be saying they're melting, they wouldn't be joking. Right, 8,900 feet. I'm gonna use the map to see. Ugh. I'm gonna set the course before I do anything, actually. 060. So it's directly in the 6 heading. Or 06 heading. Which is nice to see. Next stream will probably be a DC-9. and it'll be real world operations. Which, it's gonna have to be an airport where I actually know where it's at, so it can't be like one of the things I do with the MD-80, for example, where I go to airports I've never heard of. Like, that's not gonna work, because with the DC-9, I fly it by vectoring myself using the map, and since the map doesn't cover the entire world or anything, only the area you're in, like within 100 miles of where you're at, I'm gonna have to know like the general direction of the arrival airport and airports around it. And the directions of the runways, which that shouldn't be too hard to figure out even if it's a small airport. I might actually take manual throttle just because I don't want to be as lazy, and because I was doing it earlier, so I'm already used to that. Alright, what's the airport elevation again? Airport elevation's 208 feet. So I'll put it at 2,900 feet here for the capture altitude. I'll put that away for now. I'm gonna actually keep the map in handy just in case something happens. I'll put it on vertical speed. Minus 900 feet per minute. Auto throttle off. So now that I have manual throttle, I can actually have something to do by watching the speed. So I'm gonna go ahead and sit a little closer here in order to watch the speed. I'm gonna land with the usual flaps 28. The thing about this is that this jet's a little heavier. Like with the DC-9, for example, operating the throttles wasn't really anything crazy. And I'm at idle right now, which is helping out with the fuel efficiency of this flight. It also might hurt the actual speed trajectory if I can't slow it down quick enough, which shouldn't really be an issue, because my biggest issue usually with the auto throttle is that it'll stay at about 32% N1 even when I'm you know, 100 knots fast. Speaking of 100 knots fast, I saw an A321 at my school that was going 270 when it was turning on to base, or like when it was turning on to final, actually. It was already on base. And from where I could see, like, the view I had, I could only see, like, I could see the final approach. So basically, what would be, like, right after it stopped turning. Like, in the span of, like, 2 miles, it went from 270 knots to 170 knots. And I was like, it's gotta have the gear down or something to slow it down that much. And sure enough, when it, and it was also about 1,000 feet too high, too. But sure enough, when it popped out, the gears were down, it was in landing configuration. You know, pretty early. We're 29 miles, so about 30 miles from the airport. And we're descending pretty rapidly right now. I'd say we don't really need to get to the capture altitude that quick. I'm gonna go ahead and put the slats out. I don't really see the effect of slats, especially slowing it down in the simulator. Like in the rotate MD-80. Like, I don't know if it's not modeled or if I'm just not looking hard enough. But it's the same with the landing lights. In real life, those both produce drag. You know, obviously. Because they're sticking out from the wing. But alright. Closing in on our 2,900 feet. I'll go ahead and chill out on the vertical speed a little. Not that much. But minus 300 should be good. And throttles down to idle. Running a very good frame rate right now. Especially considering I'm streaming. I already have the nose gear light on too, just so I don't forget that later on. Should be turning on the final pretty soon. Not super soon though. I'm getting the speed down pretty good right now. I'll actually throttle up so we don't get too slow. We don't have a crazy nose high attitude right now though. It's only about 5 or 6 degrees, which 5 degrees is normal for some landings. I'm getting it down now by speeding it up. And I'll arm the ILS. I mean, we're still gonna be about 15 miles out at least when we get to the. Okay, yeah, way more than that. 25 miles out, and I sped up a little too much. Not too big of a deal though, since we didn't go over 250. It's definitely not a big deal getting it slowed back down. All right, holding at 240 again. Making sure I've got the ILS all configured and tuned up. I wish I hadn't set the capture altitude though, because it would have been a lot more fun to do a visual approach. Alright, we should be turning on the final right about now. And we should definitely be getting the ILS signal too. Well, maybe we wouldn't be getting the ILS signal. The ILS signal's actually usually around like 17 miles out. And even then, it's not guaranteed. And here we go, turn on the final. It always does a little right turn, or a little turn in the opposite direction before it starts a turn, especially a sharp turn. Speed might come down a little bit during this turn. Not too much, but it is coming down. And then once I can see the runway, which that won't be for a while since we're already going so since we're already so low. Speed's coming to 220. I'm not gonna let the speed come down really anymore until we get the glide slope. Since maybe I will. I'll get it down to around 180 maybe right before. And it's overshooting the turn as usual too. Whenever it's turning on to a final approach, it likes to do that. And I don't really get it. I don't get the appeal of overshooting a turn like that. Alright, as soon as I'm able to get into localizer mode though, I'll probably put the I'll probably get the speed down to 180 and get flaps 11 out. Hear my ginger ale sizzling. Okay, there we go. I'll be able to get ILS and hopefully localizer track very soon. I'm gonna actually go onto the stream and stay on it, although only on the chat. Another thing that happens on approach that I don't really like is this little shallow angle we're doing, because it's intercepting the first waypoint on the final approach instead of lining up with the runway as soon as it can. That kind of annoys me, and that's not a specific thing with any jet either. It's just a an approach thing in general. Alright, 17 miles, or nautical miles. I'm gonna go ahead and put in flaps 11 just so we don't stall. I'm gonna make sure that's actually coming out. And we'll go down to 180. Yes, it is. Flaps 11. There. Set. Now the nose will come over a little bit. Go. Almost into a nose down attitude. And there we go, 180. Try to hold that. There we go, localizer track. We got it. This is a little awkward. Let's go back to the left. Jesus Christ. Speed's coming down a little bit because we're in a turn and we have the flaps down. Turn to the left, please. Okay, now we're overshooting. Okay, this is something that I'm not making custom emojis for live chat. Stupid, they're all gonna be Stenhouse emojis or something. Alright, speed's at 170 right now. I'm trying to thrust way up to get back to at least 175. There we go, we're back at 180 almost now. And do we have the field in sight? Yes, I can see it. Field is in sight. As soon as I get into landing configuration, I'll put the map away. Alright, glide slope's coming down. .8 nautical miles. Glide slope track. Want to make sure the speed's coming down. We'll go flaps 28, landing gear down. Again. Nose is coming way down. Visibility's getting well, diminishing. As usual in X-Plane when I get closer to the airport. I'll take manual control as soon as I can see the runway. I might just do it now, because I'm already in full landing configuration. At the landing speed. I'll just take it now. Because I have the glide slope as a reference. On landings when I don't have the glide slope, I probably won't take it this early, but those are a different story. I'll try to keep the speed around, or this third. third speed tape is. I always try to stay a little below the glide slope. Speed staying around 145. Perfectly on the glide slope. I can kinda see the runway in the distance. Not too well though. Thousand feet, stabilized, missed approach altitude set. The missed approach altitude's going to be 2,900. Right, I don't need the glide slope anymore because I have a firm grasp on the runway. Continue. I'm a little low.
100. 50, 40, 30, 20, 10.
Whoa. Alright, 2 in reverse. And full reverse, because I don't know how long the runway is. And I was going to try to break off on that taxiway there, but that's not going to work. And the next one's not too far ahead. I also didn't arm the ground spoiler, which wasn't that big of a deal, but... And as usual, since I've never been to this airport before, I have no idea where the gates are going to be, so I might just park in an open space. Or I can look for the gates, but that's... They're probably sitting right here anyway. Yeah, they're right there. The cabin crew's making an announcement. I don't know if you can hear it. Once again, the ILS approach always seems to be a little too low for me. I'm just gonna park at gate 11 over here. There's a very wide line here. I've never seen one that big before. And as usual, I'm parking on the outside view. Not because I don't know how to park it on the line, but because I don't know how to park it exactly at the end of the line, because you can't really see it anywhere from in here. But there we go. Now I'm going to look at a replay of that landing. I feel like the trick to getting it to not seem too low is looking at the end of the runway, because that did it right there. I'll look at the approach later. There was the part where you could tell I was too low. And here comes a touchdown. The runway was long enough for shenanigans, but I didn't even... It wasn't even shenanigans, so that was pretty much right on the touchdown zone. A little after, but it wasn't like after. It was barely after. I'd say that's still earlier than most of them touchdown normally. And now we can watch the still view from the end of the runway, which always makes the landing look 10 times harder than it actually was. But I'm here to watch the approach. I don't care about the actual touchdown. Actually, we can watch it from the normal cockpit view too, which is this. Which the only thing I don't like it is that it's too, it's a little low. Like I feel like in real life I'd be sitting a little higher. And a little closer. Basically, this is pretty much the way I'm sitting, with the yoke in real life right now. But yeah, that was a fun one. I am gonna go back and look at something. A little further back. We can watch the landing gears coming down too, if that interests anybody. Alex, I bet you sure want to see that. I don't really care though, I'm gonna do it anyway. Here it comes, it's opening its mouths. Here come the landing gears. Yeah, now it's closing its mouths. Oh man, isn't that fantastic? There's the nose down for a little bit. There's when I took manual control. You can tell, even in real life, when it starts wobbling, that the actual pilots are in control. And there's the free view again. Alright. Parking brake. GPU. Engine shutdown. Once again, I was hoping for better visibility, and especially because in Miami the visibility is pretty bad too. It's a little better here, but I mean still, this is not really what I consider good visibility. For a little higher up it would be, but no. And now I can go out of the galaxy. Even though there's no other planets. There's one other planet, I think. Unless, I think that's the moon. No, that might be another actual planet. I'm gonna see if there's any more other actual planets here that I can see. Because I don't think there are. That is the moon. Okay, well, what the heck? What am I even doing? I'm looking at planets. I'm supposed to be planning the next flight. That might actually be the only flight in the stream, because I'm tired now. So I'll do DC-9 flights tomorrow, probably. If I do flights tomorrow at all. So, yeah. Good night, everybody. I mainly want to do it tomorrow, or I'm gonna just do it whenever there's good visibility, like it's clear out here. Because that was the whole point of me doing the flight. I wanted it to be kind of scenic. Not for me, I don't care about that. I mean for the precious viewers. That's right, Alexander, you. No, but nighty night. I always have to end the stream before I close X-Plane, just because it usually dropped frames 218. Well, that's a darn shame. No, but I always have to end the stream before I close X-Plane, because when I close X-Plane, it just like... When I close X-Plane, it crashes the whole computer, pretty much. I'm gonna end the stream.